right.
Yes.
All right. So today the session is about IELTS listening. You know that there are some types of questions in IELTS listening. That's about we have already discussed. Here on the screen, you can see the items of the question. Initially, gap completion. Today, we are going
Mm.
to focus on gap completion basically. Remember, there are four parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Part 1 and Part 4 are generally gap completion. Generally, remember, it's not always. Besides Part 1 and Part 4, in other parts, also you may get gap completion. Just say the title, note, form, table, flowchart, summary. Whatever the title is, we know that it is gap completion. Clear? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to show you a sample question, and that may help you to get the idea about IELTS listening. Just give a look. Part 1, just see the gap completion 1 to 10. Then part 2, it is MCQ. You can see here on the screen. And more questions on part 2. There's about multiple choice. And then part 3, again, you can see gap completion. Okay. And then
Yes.
you can see the matching. Okay, more question. And part 4, again, gap completion, 31 to 40. If you give a look on this question, I mean, on the sample question, you can see 26 gap completion. How many? 26. So if you give a thorough effort, I believe it is quite possible to get corrected all the questions in IELTS listening portion. And generally, what I have seen, okay, what my experience does say, at least 20 questions you will get about gap completion. It's specific in part 1 and part 4. But for this sample question, you can see in part 3 as well, some gap completion. Well, in part 1, that's very easy. I do repeat, part 1 is very easy. Even it is quite possible to correct all 10 questions. Let me write it here, 10 questions from part 1, okay? 10 questions from part 4. Generally, part 1 and part 4 are about gap completion. Now the question is that how to get the higher marks in IELTS listening portion, specifically when you solve the gap completion. Now we're going to talk about this and how to do this. First of all, just see, part 1, questions 1 to 10, complete the notes. It means gap completion. Even the instructions, that's very important. One word and or a number. First of all, dear candidate, you must have to follow the instructions. Is it known to you? Do you know about this? One word and or a number.
We
One
need to
word.
write just one word or
Okay.
one number.
Okay, you can see if I see, okay, one means one word. Okay, one word, one. If I say one item, how many words? Two words. Okay, one item. Okay, all right. If I say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, if I say 1 year, just see, this is the number, this is the word. It means and, and. One word and a number. Have you got it? 1 year.
Yes.
Number,
Yes.
then word. But this is, if I say year, one word. If I say one, this is number. Clear? So one word,
Okay.
one number, or a number, then one word and a number. Clear now? Perfect.
Yes.
You should have to follow it strictly. You have no way to ignore this instruction. Well, let's go through solving the questions. Now I'm going to tell you that how can you achieve a desired band space, specifically how may you correct most of the questions in IELTS listening portion. And basically today
Sir,
we're going to talk about the gap completion. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, tell me.
if I write 1 year like ONE,
One.
is it right or no?
Okay, one, then year.
This is two words.
Yes, you can say 2 words. Clear?
So so this is wrong.
Yeah, wrong. So which one
Okay.
you should just say 1 year, separate them. But if you write 1 year, it
This is
means
the second one is
yeah,
right.
yeah. 1 word, just the
Okay.
1 word and a number. 1 word and a number. But one, it is a number. Year, okay, it is a word. Clear?
Word.
One
Okay.
word
Yes.
and or a number. Just see the word and or. It is the issue. And means both number and word. Or means you can
Okay.
see either or. Clear? All right.
Yes, clear.
Good. In gap completion, you should have to focus on your spelling. Spelling is the most important thing. Most of the IELTS takers, okay, they make some spelling mistakes, and that results absolutely horrendous. I mean, they do answer they get the correct answer. Unfortunately, because of the spelling mistake, they lose the marks. All right, let's keep going. Uh, in the beginning of the test, okay, I mean, when we will go to the part one, you will be given some time to read the question. Some time. That time, you should have to read the question meticulously, and you must have to guess the answer. I do repeat, you must have to guess the answer. Most of the answers you will be able to guess. Well, just see. First job. It will help you, okay, to maintain the location. Okay, I mean the audio sequence of responsibilities. Then you can say requirements. You can say experience. Second job. Okay, then you can see same responsibilities, requirements, and so on. All right. In gap completion, most of the answers are noun. I repeat, most of the gap, okay, you will get the answer now. This is one instruction. Second thing, you should have to follow, it is singular or plural. So I've mentioned a couple of things.
Okay.
Generally, 80 to 90% answer. I do repeat, 80 to 90% noun. 80 to 90%. And we need to focus on singular and plural. When we will listen to the audio, we must have to guess the answer. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay. When we'll read the question, we should have to guess the answer. When you listen to the audio, you will get the answers automatically. Just give a look. What will you do? Administrative assistant in a company that produces. Just see a company that produces. Actually, they're talking about the goods. Maybe they produces clothes, they produces plastics, they produces grocery items. It is about that produces what something. So you can say the answer is now. Have you got the first one? You have got, okay, it is
Yes.
about a thing. Responsibilities, definitely. Go to something and notes. Go to. Well, go to trainings. Maybe you can guess the answer. Go to training and take note. Just see how does it match. Management of something. Management of what? Management of work, management of responsibilities, a management of a daily work or task. Then you can see requirements, good computer skills, okay, including spreadsheets, good interpersonal skills, attention to something. Okay, now you can, okay, it's also noun. Experience, need a minimum of some experience of teleconferencing. Okay, okay, it is about maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, okay, and so on. You can see it is about time. Then come here. Second job, warehouse assistant in South London. Responsibility is stock management, managing something. Okay, stock management, managing something. Maybe the responsibility he has been given and he should have to manage it. Something managing. Requirements, ability to work with numbers, good computer skills, very organized, and something. Again, the same, very organized. Something related to organized. Related to organized. Organized and something. Used to working in a, answer will be singular. Used to working in a something. In a, maybe, okay, what could I say? Used to working in a good place, in a good environment, or maybe in a team, or so on. Able to cope with items that are. Able to cope up with the items that are. Maybe that are, you can say, maybe heavy, as it is talking about the items, maybe long, maybe large, okay, maybe monstrous, and so on. Need have experience driving in London, warehouse, something service. You can easily think when you talk about service, it is basically the word comes from is customer service. Automatically, it does come. Now I'm going to play the audio. Your job is okay to solve the questions by yourself. But in the meantime, let me tell you, in the exam for IELTS listening portion, you will do basically three things together. You will listen, you will read, and you will write. I repeat, you will listen, you will read, and you will write. You will do three activities together. But don't get panicked for part one, and part three. Okay, you'll be given a break, okay, bit of the audio play. I mean, right after five questions, you'll be get a gap for the reading the next of the questions. Okay, so are you ready? Should we go through the audio? Should we play the audio?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so now I'm going to play the audio just to get ready. Is it audible?
Yes. Let's start now.
Perfect. You just give a look.
I can't hear, sir.
And here, okay. Let me just share the sound. Just a second. Let's keep going.
Talking to a man about jobs he could apply for.
Perfect now?
First, you have some
Yes.
time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Okay, give a look.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. Thanks for coming in to see us here at the agency, Joe. I'm one of the agency representatives, and my name's Sally Baker.
Hi, Sally. I think we spoke on the phone, didn't we?
That's right, we did. So thank you for sending in your CV. We've had quite a careful look at it, and I think we have two jobs that might be suitable for you.
Okay.
The first one is in a company based in North London. They're looking for an administrative assistant.
Okay. What sort of company is it?
They're called Home Solutions, and they design and make furniture.
Oh, I don't know much about that, but it sounds interesting.
Yes, well, as I said, they want someone in their office, and looking at your past experience, it does look as if you fit quite a few of the requirements. So on your CV, it appears you've done some data entry?
Yes.
So that's one skill they want. Then they expect the person they appoint to attend meetings and take notes there.
Okay. I've done that before, yes.
And you need to be able to cope with general admin.
Filing and keeping records and so on. But that should be okay. And in my last job, I also had to manage the diary.
Excellent. That's something they want here too. I'd suggest you add it to your CV. I don't think you mentioned that, did you?
No.
So, as far as the requirements go, they want good computer skills, of course, and they particularly mention spreadsheets.
That should be fine.
And interpersonal skills, which would be something they'd check with your references.
I think that should be okay, yes.
Then they mention that they want someone who is careful and takes care with details. Just looking at your CV, I'd say you're probably all right there.
I think so, yes. Do they want any special experience?
I think they wanted some experience of teleconferencing.
Oh, I've got 3 years experience of that.
Let's see. Yes, good. In fact, they're only asking for at least 1 year, so that's great. So is that something that might interest you?
It is, yes. The only thing is, you said they were in North London, so it would be quite a long commute for me.
Okay.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
So the second position might suit you better as far as the location goes. That's for a warehouse assistant, and that's in South London.
Yes, that would be a lot closer.
And you've worked in a warehouse before, haven't you?
Yes.
So as far as the responsibilities for this position go, they want someone who could manage the stock, obviously, and also deliveries.
That should be okay. You've got to keep track of stuff, but I've always been quite good with numbers.
Good. That's their first requirement. And they want someone who's computer literate, which we know you are.
Sure.
Then they mention organizational skills. They want someone who's well organized.
Yes, I think I am.
And tidy?
Yes, they go together really, don't they?
Sure. Then the usual stuff. They want someone who can communicate well, both orally and in writing.
Okay. And for the last warehouse job I had, one of the things I enjoyed most was being part of a team. I found that was really essential for the job.
Excellent. Yes, they do mention that they want someone who's used to that, yes. Now, when you were working in a warehouse last time, what sorts of items were you dealing with?
It was mostly bathroom and kitchen equipment, sinks and stoves and fridges.
So you're okay moving heavy things?
Sure, I'm quite strong and I've had the training.
Good. Now, as far as experience goes, they mention they want someone with a license and that you have experience of driving in London, so you can cope with the traffic and so on.
Yes, no problem.
And you've got experience of warehouse work. And the final thing they mention is customer service. I think looking at your CV, you're okay there.
Right. So what about pay? Can you tell me a bit more about that, please?
That is the
Right.
end of
So
part
we
1.
have done. Now you just tell me, how was the test? Was it a difficult one, or you have got everything accordingly?
All of them. All of them. It's easy.
Ah,
I think it's
fantastic.
easy.
Congratulations. So let's give a look and try to match the answer. What was your first answer? First one,
Furniture.
very good. Second one,
Uh,
go to
attend
meetings and
meeting.
take
But
excellent. Yeah, perfect. Third one, management of
diary
diary. Excellent. Fourth one, attention to,
details.
very good. Need a minimum of, it was
Uh,
very the 1 year of experience. He did mention
1
clearly.
year.
Yeah, that's number
Yes.
6.
Deliveries.
Very good. Okay, number 7.
T-
It was very easy. Tidy.
tidy.
Number 8.
Team.
Excellent. Number 9.
Heavy.
That's heavy. Number 10. Customer service.
Customer.
You just
Yes.
need to follow this technique. Remember, dear teammates, always remember, when you focus on tips and tricks, it will not help you, to be honest. If you focus on your, overall language progress, if you focus on your language progress and just follow the guidelines, you'll achieve a desired pencil. So please don't follow any shortcuts, any tips, any tricks. Just focus on your language development, and that will help you to achieve a desired pencil. And I'm very pleased
Okay.
as you got 100% accuracy. Congratulations.
Okay.
All right, now we may move on part 4. That is quite advanced. Just see. In part one, you have got a gap. I mean, between two parts, not really two, but I mean, question number 1 to 5. Okay, they have played the audio. Then you have got a break. Okay, then they played the audio for the second half. But for this case, for part one, you won't be given any gap. So what will you do? Like just like the past. First of all, one word only. Follow the instructions. Here, nothing about okay, and or a number. So it's easy. So what will you do here?
Yes.
As soon as part 3 is finished, you will be given some time to check the question, to check it answers in part 3. You don't need to focus on part 3. Immediately come to part 4 and do start reading the questions. So what we will do? We will guess the answer. Okay, while you will read the questions. And I have already mentioned, generally 80 to 90% answers are noun. So we know about this. And you need to focus on the grammar. Is it grammatically all right or not? Singular and plural. Okay. So it will help you, okay, to maintain the location. Prehistoric times, ancient Babylon, ancient Greece, okay, ancient Germany and Gaul, ancient Rome, okay, Europe in the Middle Ages, Europe in 17th century. These will help you to get your answer location. Okay, I mean, you will never be derailed, okay, from the audio. And these words will help you. See, 12 BC, okay, then you can see 1600s, 1791, 1800s, and so on. These will be mentioned clearly. All right, so let's keep going from the beginning. Water was used to wash off. Now you can see why. To wash something. Why water was used? To wash off something. Something. For example, water was used to wash maybe house, okay, maybe their roads, okay, and so on. Ancient Babylon, just say soap, soap like material found in something cylinders. Found in cylinders. They're talking about, okay, they're talking about a cylinder. What type?
Adjective.
Yeah, exactly. In cylinders, what kind of cylinders? Clear? All right. Then you may come here, people clean themselves with sand and other substances. Use a streusel scraper made of. Okay, streusel scraper, okay, it is a streusel. That's made of something. We can guess it's noun, definitely. Scraper is made of
Yes.
stone, maybe. You can get stone or anything else, or maybe a metal like this. Then come here. Use soap to color there. Use soap, okay, ancient Germany. Why do people use soap to color their, maybe their hands, their body parts, their heads, or maybe their hair, and so on? Just see, why I'm talking, use the soap to color there. Just think of the soap and there, okay? Then ancient Rome, okay, they have been through accent of brain used washing clothes. From about 312 BC, what a carrier to Roman, something by aqueducts. So you can guess from about 312 BC, what a carried to Roman. Okay, to Roman. Why? Something. Okay, to Roman something. So why water is carried? Maybe for cultivation, or maybe you can say for baths and so on. Okay, let's keep going. European Middle Ages decline in bathing, contributing to occurrence of. Now you can say something negative. Decline. Why bathing decline? Maybe they got some problem with the allergy problem as they have used soap. Okay, so you can say occurrence of decline of bathing contributed to occurrence of something, maybe a health issue, or you can say maybe disease, or a specific problem like allergy, occurrence of allergy, or a skin problem, or a skin disease. Then something began to be added to soap. Something began, okay, to be added. Something was added with the soap. What do we do add? Nowadays, you can say different scent, or you can say perfume like this. Began to be added. Something began to be added with soap. Okay, then 17th century, 1791, Lebanon invented a way of making soda ash from. It is about a noun, you can say. Making soda ash from. From what? Any kind of, you can guess now. Okay, from what? Making soda ash. early 18, okay, then you can see several turned soap making into a something singular. Noun, of course. From 1800s, there was no longer a something, okay, was a something on a soap. You can say again a noun. Okay, now I'm going to play the audio. I hope you got the idea what will you do. Then we'll answer the questions together. Let's keep going to part 4. Okay, it is about part 4. Now I'm going to play the audio. Perfect.
Part 4.
Okay.
You will hear part of a lecture on the early history of keeping clean. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Just at a time 31 to 40. Okay, just to give a look.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Nowadays, we use different products for personal cleanliness, laundry, dishwashing, and household cleaning, but this is very much a 20th century development. The origins of cleanliness date back to prehistoric times. Since water is essential for life, the earliest people lived near water and knew something about its cleansing properties, at least that it rinsed mud off their hands. During the excavation of ancient Babylon, evidence was found that soap making was known as early as 2800 BC. Archaeologists discovered cylinders made of clay, with inscriptions on them saying that fats were boiled with ashes. This is a method of making soap, though there's no reference to the purpose of this material. The early Greeks bathed for aesthetic reasons and apparently didn't use soap. Instead, they cleaned their bodies with blocks of sand, pumice and ashes, then anointed themselves with oil and scraped off the oil and dirt with a metal instrument known as a strigil. They also used oil mixed with ashes. Clothes were washed without soap in streams. The ancient Germans and Gauls are also credited with discovering how to make a substance called soap, made of melted animal fat and ashes. They used this mixture to tint their hair red. Soap got its name, according to an ancient Roman legend, from Mount Sapo, where animals were sacrificed, leaving deposits of animal fat. Rain washed these deposits, along with wood ashes, down into the clay soil along the river Tiber. Women found that this mixture greatly reduced the effort required to wash their clothes. As Roman civilization advanced, so did bathing. The first of the famous Roman baths, supplied with water from their aqueducts, was built around 312 BC. The baths were luxurious, and bathing became very popular. And by the 2nd century AD, the Greek physician Galen recommended soap for both medicinal and cleansing purposes. After the fall of Rome in 467 AD and the resulting decline in bathing habits, much of Europe felt the impact of filth on public health. This lack of personal cleanliness and related unsanitary living conditions were major factors in the outbreaks of disease in the Middle Ages, and especially the Black Death of the 14th century. Nevertheless, soap making became an established craft in Europe, and associations of soap makers guarded their trade secrets closely. Vegetable and animal oils were used with ashes of plants, along with perfume, apparently for the first time. Gradually, more varieties of soap became available for shaving and shampooing, as well as bathing and laundering. A major step toward large-scale commercial soap making occurred in 1791, when a French chemist, Nicolas Leblanc, patented a process for turning salt into soda ash, or sodium carbonate. Soda ash is the alkali obtained from ashes that combines with fat to form soap. The Leblanc process yielded quantities of good quality, inexpensive soda ash. Modern soap making was born some 20 years later, in the early 19th century, with the discovery by Michel Eugène Chevreul, another French chemist, of the chemical nature and relationship of fats, glycerine, and fatty acids. His studies established the basis for both fat and soap chemistry, and soap making became a science. Further developments during the 19th century made it easier and cheaper to manufacture soap. Until the 19th century, soap was regarded as a luxury item and was heavily taxed in several countries. As it became more readily available, it became an everyday necessity, a development that was reinforced when the high tax was removed. Soap was then something ordinary people could afford, and cleanliness standards improved. With this widespread use came the development of milder soaps for bathing and soaps for use in the washing machines that were available to consumers by the turn of the 20th century.
That is the end of part 4. You now
So we have done the job. How was it? Congratulations. Initially, I must have to say, as you have taken the test. Was it quite difficult?
A little bit, يعني I missed some of them.
Okay, that's all right. But this is the approach that can help. Remember, part 4 is a university lecture. Okay, it's quite advanced. You need to do some active listening. But what is crucial, okay, before playing the audio, I mean, you'll get some time to read the question. Just read the question very carefully and guess the answer. And I hope at least 6 answers you have got corrected, at least 6. But if you practice in a regular basis, okay, and you do some active listening, just like listening to a podcast, you enjoy some program like news or any other programs in English, that will develop, okay, your listening skill. Remember, only taking tests or solving questions isn't enough. It will only help you to automate your brain. I do repeat, it will help you to automate your brain, but for a better result, you need to improve your overall language skill. That is the most important thing. You are okay, you are just taking a course, it will give you the guidance, but you, a person, will give the real effort to achieve a desired best score. And that is all about your communication skill, your language skill. I hope you got the point now.
Yes.
Okay, I will send you this book. Okay, this book does have some of the tests. Your job will be, okay, taking the test and of course informing me your band score. Okay,